Right, Tristan,
How are you doing?
welcome to the podcast, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. So, Tristan, I need to ask you a question, please, and I need you to help me, boo. What is your surname?
Oh, that's a real mouthful there. It's Van Moerkerken. Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah, no, it's quite, got really blessed with that one. It's Dutch by origin.
Okay.
So my dad's side of the family's from Holland. Mom's South African, Afrikaans actually. Her surname was Stadler. So,
Oh, wonderful. So it was one of the two, eh?
Kind of went either or, but at least you don't forget it, that's for sure. Yeah.
Definitely not. The first time you said to me, I was like, excuse me? Look, but I have to go through the world with my name as Huntley.
Yeah.
Now, just try and spell that to people, because the N and the M, it's Hunm, no, T, oh, bro, it's such a nightmare.
I didn't even know there was an M in there.
No, there isn't an M. People switch the N for the M.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I get the strangest spellings. So anyway, you started a company, and this is really why you're here, because we're going to be discussing nootropics. You've started a company called Primeself.
Correct, yeah.
All right. Manufacturing nootropics.
Yeah, formulation products, health products, nootropics, adaptogens, the whole show.
How the hell did you get involved in this?
So about second year university, I was studying biochemistry at the time. This was maybe 2015, and wanted to look at making some cash on the side. Didn't want to tutor, didn't want to waiter at a restaurant, and somehow I came across nootropics, and I thought, sell these things at university. I think it was Nootropics at the time, and brought in a bunch of it, started selling it to some friends, made a little online store, and met a guy who was doing a similar thing. And he had his website selling a couple of nootropics. I brought in a couple more after that. And as things progressed, we kind of joined forces, strangely enough. And after joining forces, we had another company by the name of Primeself. Ran for that, literally typical garage business. I mean, I was selling nootropics out of my garage at a stage.
Nice.
Online store, people would come through, collect, ship it out, pack it for the couriers.
And who are you selling it to? Varsity students?
So it started out with varsity students. As we all know, they don't exactly have the most
cash.
free flow cash, yeah. So strangely enough, it started being your professionals, your business individuals, accountants, those type of people. And people that are willing to experiment and indulge in strange substances, to say the least.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that use modafinil couldn't start more. You couldn't find it anymore. They somehow came across it.
So you obviously know nootropics, and I've done my homework on nootropics because I've been taking nootropics for a very long time.
Yeah.
We need to clarify the difference between nootropics, which is natural, right, in my definition, and smart drugs, which is synthetic.
So I think, that's one way to categorize it.
How else would you categorize it?
I'd say nootropics are your general cognitive enhancing drugs. Smart drugs are more towards your modafinil.
Yes, things like racetam family.
Yeah, that's probably one way to categorize it, yeah. I generally look at nootropics as both the synthetic, your racetams, and your naturals, lion's mane, bacopa, and your smart drugs are more Adderall, modafinil, more of the hardcore stimulant type things. I guess it comes down to preference sometimes, or whatever you choose to group them as.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows them? I think there might actually be a more specific, defined definition that separates
your
nootropic, nootropics, which are supposedly be by definition low on side effects, beneficial to brain health.
Correct.
The whole show. Where smart drugs, I think, have a slightly different definition. But
yeah, when I speak nootropics, you see, the problem is when I speak to people about nootropics, I'm always referring to, in my experience, referring to supplements.
Okay, so you're natural.
That's it. So when I talk nootropics, that's in my mind, that's my definition I've given it. And then people will be like, oh, like, let's say for argument's sake, modafinil. I'm like, no, that's I'm just trying to quantify it, and I'm trying to, because the moment you say smart drugs, people are like, whoa. I'm not interested in that. Or some people are like, oh, give me more. You know what I mean? Can I get it from you? And I mean, I'm just not interested in that type of thing. I'm more interested in what you're doing, which is to me, natural supplementation and that route, because it's fairly new in this country.
Oh, no, definitely so. I mean, majority of individuals don't even know what nootropics are.
Carry on chatting. I see the microphones just dropped. All sorts of
never heard of them before. But it slowly picks up. I mean, I think more and more people are starting to catch on to the trend of things now. I mean, if you're looking in the States and Europe and stuff, nootropics are probably one of the most widely used things in the universities there.
Yeah.
And it's just not uncommon for a student to be supplementing with them.
You know, not just universities, Silicon Valley.
There we go. I mean, that's the heart of the stuff.
But then it's smart drugs.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys
are
modafinil and your acetam
exactly
family and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just not interested in going that route. It's not something that interests me. It's not something I want to play with. I just don't like it. I don't like taking medicine. So
it has its place.
I'm a bit paranoid.
Yeah.
Call me naive, but I don't want to play with something that I don't understand.
Yeah, well, they research chemicals for a reason. I mean, stuff like your modafinil, Provigil, as most people here would know it.
Okay.
Is pretty widely researched, and it's for narcolepsy for those people.
That's right.
Don't know that. Stuff's absolutely incredible. I mean, it does not surprise me one bit why every single high-end professional is eating that stuff like candy. I mean, if you've ever taken Concerta or Ritalin, this stuff blows it out the water.
Oh, really?
It is, productivity-wise, don't think of it as like a stimulant. Well, it is a stimulant, but it doesn't just provide that clean, crisp, clean, crisp focus that you would get from something like Adderall. It boosts in motivation, just general cognition. It's just it's madness.
Really,
that stuff, yeah. Lasts for about 12 to 14 hours. So if you really got a seriously jam-packed day and you absolutely just need to smash all your goals and work, it's kind of what you got to go for.
Okay, but it is, to me, in my mind, it is a quick fix.
Oh, right? Yeah, no, definitely.
And something like a herbal or a supplementative nootropic, to me, that's something long term, and that's something I can take, because I look at the products and I go, okay, I know what that is. So for argument's sake, you've got a product, and I mean, we'll discuss some of your products, but you've got a product called Mind, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that attracted me to that product is you've got lion's mane in it. Now, I mean, your biggest competitor out there, and I say competitor because it's funny, you're the proverbial David and he's the Goliath, but is somebody like, and this is probably what made it famous, is on its Alpha Brain.
100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly where it kind of all originated from. So obviously once I got into the whole nootropic scene, I came across Alpha Brain, I came across Mind Lab Pro, or the other high-end natural daily nootropics, and Mind is pretty much similar to Alpha Brain plus a few ingredients. But
yeah. No,
the concept's the same.
It is very similar.
Daily brain.
I'll be honest with you. Last year, October, we got into contact. And how that happened is I wanted to buy Alpha Brain. And the usual guys that I buy Alpha Brain from didn't have the stock I wanted. Right?
All right.
So I jumped on the net and I started researching, and I come across a bunch of sites. And some of them didn't look kosher to me at all. And I came across your site. And I started looking. So what I did is I opened up Alpha Brain's ingredient list.
Yeah.
I opened up your ingredient list, and I literally went one for one. You guys had lion's mane. They don't. And that to me was like, wow. I mean, because product for product, similar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Similar.
The core ingredients are
similar. The core ingredients, because I mean, those are the core ingredients you can use. It's
trial and tested. I mean,
correct.
Yeah.
And I phoned you up and I had a chat with you because, again, I didn't trust these sites. You know, we as South Africans, we're still very skeptical about online use.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Just in terms of that initial trust factor. And I was busy speaking to you, and then we started speaking about your tea. And I said, what's in your tea? And you said to me, it's this product.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows about mate because it's yerba mate. And you're like, no, it's this product. I said, what product? And you're like, yerba mate, and I was like, oh, okay, great, because my brother and I've been drinking mate for 2-3 years now, and that's kind of when I realized, all right, I'm really, really comfortable with the products. I'm really comfortable with you, and that's when I went ahead and ordered and got it in, and that's sort of how our relationship started. But I mean, how many of these phone calls do you get?
Ooh, regards to scammy, sketchy websites.
Scammy, sketchy websites.
On a regular, especially on my first couple versions of the website before, I got it looking all smooth and slick. Obviously, as I progressed, I learned a little more and got a little better at it, and it looks a little less like a
dodgy, sketchy website. Yeah, your website's great.
Yeah, no, it's looking really, really good at the moment, and things like reviews, social media pages, they all add to
the legitimacy.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, it's not uncommon for me to get a phone call.
So who do you think your typical buyer is? Because I know, very interesting. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was on the podcast with Julia Robson, who's an esports personality or a pro female gamer. I mean, she's a natural protagonist of your product, like I am. I don't get sponsored. You don't give, although you did give me the Active last year as a tester. Thank you very much, and I have used it. But other than that, I'm a paying customer. So there's no sponsorships here. But other than your sponsored, because you're also Big Five. Don't you?
Esports team, correct.
Esports team, Big Five. You sponsor them?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Any other sponsorships?
Not currently. I'm looking at getting into the whole brand ambassador, sponsorship, endorsement scene. MMA fighters, endurance athletes, plus now the gamers that we have. A couple high-end professionals at a later stage. All a bit of a work in progress,
of course,
but definitely the easiest way to get into the market. I mean, if you've got people in the industry talking
also, having said
products,
that, very difficult to manage those relationships, and they've got to be managed correctly, because otherwise you can just give product and get nothing in return.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So there's got to be a
selective,
a very structured. And for me, I think as the podcast may progress, I may be in a position where sponsorships come and things like that. I can't sponsor something I don't believe in. And vice versa. I think the trick for you is to find these guys that actually believe in your product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not just paying lip service. Thank you for my product. Oh, look at me, I'm great. Some chick on Instagram with a big bum. Because I don't think that sends across the right message.
Definitely not for products like this.
Yeah.
If you're looking for your general health and beauty products, by all means, the high following Instagram accounts of the pretty ladies in the bikinis probably
best
does
to
quite well for that. But something like this, you need people that are actually going to be like, use this product. This is what I use, and it works. And that's the way to go.
Absolutely. I started with your Mind product and I love it. In fact, you just brought me some again today because mine's out, so I'm very, very happy about that. But I really, really, really appreciate it. Focus for me. So you've got Mind, right?
Yeah.
Which is an equivalent to something like Alpha Brain.
It's your daily cognitive support product.
Correct. And again, something that I believe you build up. It doesn't happen instantly. You start taking it, and 5, 6, 7 days later,
anywhere from there to a couple months. I mean, it works on several factors in your brain, from boosting acetylcholine to brain-derived nootropic factors. So the time span of when it actually works and how long it works for
is body dependent.
There you go. And obviously, the longer you use it, the better.
Yes.
That's your long-term product. It's something that you use, like your vitamins. You use them on a daily routine, religiously. It's not something like a Focus, whereas that's your as-needed product. You need that little boost in the morning or boost before you got to do some work. That's something that you get.
Correct. And then you've got Focus.
Yeah.
What is Focus aimed at? Because I took Focus before the podcast, and I take Focus not every day, but as and when. I know I've got a meeting, I'm a little bit tired, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and sort of 30, 40 minutes or an hour before I take Focus.
Focus is it's exactly that. It's your focus supplement. It's your as needed mental energy in a pill.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can market it from gamers. I mean, it's perfect for gamers. You need that reaction speed, that focus, that concentration, that just general wakefulness and alertness. It's great for studying, productivity, sports. It works well for sports as a pre-workout. I mean, it's got hordenine in there, which is actually great for metabolism, weight loss, just general physical energy. It's got your acetylcarnitine in there, Also great for sports supplements, endurance. So it kind of can act as both for whatever you really want it to. But I just look at it as a mental energy boosting pill. Kind of like, instead of drinking a Red Bull or a Monster or 10 cups of coffee,
Yes.
take that.
Yeah. Well, I'm completely off sugar. I haven't had an iota of sugar for about, I think it's about 35 days now.
Sure.
So I actually carry your Active in my car, and then on my way, let's say the Focus in the car, and then on the way to the meeting, I'll just grab one. But also, having said that, now you've just released the product Active.
Correct.
Okay, aimed at
endurance athletes, your sportsmen, not your typical gym bunny, but rather your high-end sportsmen, your runners, your athletes, your endurance athletes, your fighters, cyclists, triathlon athletes, that type of guy. So it's
anything where you need like a sustained gas tank over a period of time.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to give you that slight edge, it's not like taking a pre-workout and you're going to get that immediate energy boost, something that you're really going to notice. It's more of your endurance enhancement, your recovery enhancement. Actually did a test just before we launched the product with, I don't know if you know Barbell Bullies.
Yes.
Club. Yeah. So Henk and Laura, the owners there, I gave them and another guy by the name of Graham a couple bottles of these, and I said, please just give it a go, let me know what you think, honest opinions. That's all that I want. They didn't post it on social media, it was more just
market research.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And they loved it. They said it was absolutely incredible. They said in terms of recovery between obviously as a power lifter, you got your 1 rep max.
Correct.
And apparently there's quite a gap that you got to have between the days that you can do that, 5-6 days before you fully
you can
recover.
Do it again. Yes,
exactly. And apparently it helped out with that. I think they said something along the lines of they noticed it a lot more when they weren't taking it than when they were. So they noticed that drop.
That's the thing with nootropics. It's you don't take it and all of a sudden it's the smart drug epiphany from Limitless, and you can recall quantum physics. But it is definitely a subtle change.
Yeah.
And I like the way you said that. It's not necessarily you realizing you're on it, but when you're not taking, you realize it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a very interesting way of putting it.
Or on point, not as sharp. That's exactly how it works.
Well, and then you've got something interesting, which is yerba mate. Now, so few people in South Africa even know what mate is. I came across it through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there's a very big protagonist of it by the name of Roberto Sabogabu. Now, Roberto, in my game, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game, he's a multiple world champion, multiple ADCC champion, and I came across it by a guy by the name of Jody, and he's from Yerba Mate, South Africa. And I was busy researching it to see if we could find it in the country. Found Jody, did the same thing, phoned him up, had a chat with him. I was like, okay, ordered a whole bunch of it through, and we've been drinking it kind of religiously. It is an incredible hangover cure. Just absolutely incredible hangover cure, without a doubt. But for energy, for nutrients, where it actually originates from Argentina. Right?
Yeah,
the southern sort of American countries. And there I know they were saying that obviously poverty is rife, third world country. The guys actually drink mate as sustenance.
They live off the stuff.
To live off the stuff, absolutely. And when I heard this, I was like, what? And then a lot of the jiu-jitsu, the Brazilians, obviously because Argentina and Brazil, and the Brazilians brought it through to America, and they take it, as their supplement. They take it as their drink. So literally after training, they'll all sit and they'll have their mate. Yeah. Now you've done something very interesting with your mate, and we're actually drinking it right now. You've put it in tea bag form.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
Convenience.
Because usually it comes in loose leaf. And then there's a whole rigmarole in terms of how you make it and how you drink it, and you walk around with canisters with filters and bombistas with filters. But this tea, and we're actually drinking it right now. So this is the product right here. Check how cool that is, right? So it's a tea bag, and you've actually gone and put cinnamon and a little bit of peppermint leaf and a little bit of stevia.
Yeah, and there's a couple other adaptogens in there too.
Okay.
So we've got ashwagandha, rhodiola. There's, I think holy basil.
Okay.
I don't know. There might be bacoba in here too. Whenever.
Please check it out. And what's great, I mean, I'm busy drinking it at the moment, right? We literally pop the tea bag in. We put the water in. There's no milk. There's no sugar. I'm drinking it just like this, and it's divine.
That's great stuff.
Absolutely divine. It's the nicest mate I've ever drank in my life. Because we always add a little bit of, like with anything, you need to get used to the taste of pure mate, because it has got a very, very distinctive taste.
Yeah.
And it's something we've got to get used to. So my brother and I add lemon, and we add sugar. Well, we used to add a little bit of sugar. We don't do that anymore. Now we'd add stevia or erythritol. But this is divine.
Yeah, no, it works great. And the flavoring, well, the way we flavored the tea was with actual cinnamon itself and peppermint leaf. I mean, what better way to...
How natural.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make it completely natural. I mean, you're marketing it as a health product.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah.
Make it as
and
great as
what I
possible.
like is, I mean, I think there's a place for both of the products, and I don't believe in scarcity mentality. So, but for me, this is perfect for, I need to go quickly, done and dusted. And the pure mate that I can buy in packet form is great for making bulk. Literally making a big 2-liter bottle or a 3 or 4 liter bottle and letting it lie in the fridge. And we come back from training smashed, like completely smashed. And the first thing we do is we drink some mate. And we call it the mate ting. Because as you drink it, like for 5-6 minutes later, you get the ding. And all of a sudden, you can it's literally a feeling you can get.
Yeah.
It's actually a quantifiable heightened state that mate gives you. The stronger you drink it, the more of it. Heightened state is maybe the wrong way of putting it, but it definitely gives you a little bit of a buzz. But it's the caffeine, it's all the nutrients inside the mate.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a damn good product, man. Your packaging is incredible. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's taken some time in perfecting, but progress is key.
So I want to get back to, and we definitely discuss what Nootropics actually does to the brain and why we'd want to take it. But let's take a step back. So you start dabbling with Nootropics in college, in varsity.
Correct.
Right. At what point do you decide, I want to turn this into an actual business?
So it kind of was at like the same time. I brought it in with the thought of trying it out myself, and at the same time I brought it in with the thought of giving it to everyone else to sell and make some money. Didn't pan out the way I initially thought it was. I mean, I was new to the whole. I mean, I've never sold something before, so that was.
What you were studying?
Biochemistry.
Yeah, okay. You're not a
sales
sales guy.
No, not at all. Not even in the
So
slightest.
you're the quintessential nerd. Oh, you're an undercover
sense,
nerd.
Yeah.
Justin, you can say it, bro. I've got no issues with that.
Is what it is. But yeah, and after a couple months of setting it up on a website, trying to move it around, it wasn't really going anywhere. It just kind of started flowing from there. I mean, as I brought in a couple more products and added them to the website, it was kind of just like a side project, a hobby. I mean, I wasn't really too focused on it, and I started seeing a lot of potential in it, a lot of interest in it, and that's when it clicked, and I was like, hey, I'm actually onto something here.
Yeah.
This is probably a pretty good business model right here, and kind of went with it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I saw the massive online stores in the States. I mean, in the States, there must be
it's insane.
Hundreds of nootropic stores, and I was like, there's not even a single one here in South Africa.
Or at least at that stage, they may not have been.
And
I'm yet to find a competitor in South Africa that I trust, not imported, locally manufactured.
And
I'm not saying they're not
today,
out there, but I just don't know them.
I prefer not to mention that.
You don't have to.
Keep it that way.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. This is the internet where we can plug you shamelessly.
There we go. But actually, one of my competitors was actually my ex-business partner.
Oh,
yeah.
Sordid tale. Tell me more.
So we ran the business from about middle 2015 till end of 2016, and that was called Upgrade itself. We had your fully fledged nootropic store, and things got a little dirty, a little unhealthy, and the partnership split decided to come into play. Real volatile situation.
As that wasn't
exactly. I mean, I think anyone that's been through one of them knows the draw. I mean, they are absolutely terrible. Landed up losing the entire customer base, pretty much majority of the company, and I started up again.
Nice. I like it.
Fists up, fighting, and here I am today. This is it.
What you going to do about it, bro? You can sit down and cry.
Exactly.
Or you can get cracking.
Live and learn. I mean, I never regret it.
And also, you know, in all fairness and just truth speaking, you're a very young businessman at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
I can guarantee you there was a lot in place that wasn't in place. Shareholders agreements weren't in place probably.
Exactly.
All these types of things.
A lot of things that would have been nice to know.
Yeah. In hindsight.
Were a very, very good lesson to learn. And once you learn it,
you never forget it.
You never forget it.
Yeah. I deal with so many young business guys and startups. For some reason, the universe just always gives me these startups that I sort of get involved in terms of management consulting. And I say to the guys, there's a very big difference between starting a venture and starting a business.
Yeah.
A business is a completely different animal to a venture. Anybody can create a website, put your name up, register, not a CC anymore, but a PTY limited, register your PTY and off you go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little different.
It's a little bit more complicated than that in real life.
Oh, no, definitely. But I mean, look, it's all fun and well. I mean, I've learned it while I'm young.
Well, thankfully you did it when you were young.
I won't make the same mistake. Yeah. I'll make the same mistake again.
35 with a family.
Exactly.
And kids and a wife, and all of a sudden you lose your business.
There we go.
This is what you don't want to do. All right. Okay. And that was then, that then converted into Primeself.
Yeah. So the start of 2017, I opened up Primeself. That was the products you see here today. And ever since then, it's kind of progressed here.
Yeah. So Primeself is focused on the supplement.
Yeah.
So the supplement being your multiple sets of different nootropics formulated into a focus or a mind or whatever the case may be, right? Then you've just, I wouldn't say pivoted, but you've added on with another thing called ZA Nootropics.
Correct.
Okay. Which is nootropics in its pure form?
Yeah. So Primeself is your human optimization store. It's your optimizing every aspect of human performance, from cognition to physical performance to mood to health and vitality. I mean, everything that you can think of, optimized. That's the going word. Optimized.
There we optimized by Primeself. I love it.
Exactly that.
And for the listeners, that's Tristan's t-shirt.
And we originally had all the nootropic powders, your acetams, or as you would like to call them, smart drugs, in the store with Primeself. And beginning of this year, I decided it was time to separate the two. They were going to take different directions, slightly different target markets, marketing tactics, whatever it is. And that's how ZA Nootropics came about. That is your online nootropic marketplace. The goal of that is to have your nootropics, your smart drugs, stock other supplements from local brands, international brands, just your general one-stop nootropic shop.
Got you.
And that's
Got you. And I mean, you've actually brought me some lion's mane. I mean, and for the listeners, it's a tidy little packaged Primeself lion's mane. And for the viewers, how cool does that look? So this is pure lion's mane, which I want to, and this is my own personal preference, but I want to take in addition to mind, because man, lion's mane is some really, 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 really interesting stuff. I've actually got some information on it, but lion's mane is really, really interesting. I'll tell you an interesting story. I was listening to a podcast with a gentleman by the name of Paul Stamets, and Paul Stamets is an expert on mushrooms. And for all the nerds out there, the new Star Trek on Netflix is actually the guy he's a mycologist, right? He's actually called Paul Stamets. And they've actually taken his whole idea of mycelium and what mycelium is, and they've put it inside Star Trek. Right. But that's from a real life guy called Paul Stamets. And he was on a podcast with Joe Rogan, and he was talking about lion's mane, and I heard it, and I was like, what is this? And let's do some research. This is pre me discussing it to you.
Yeah.
So I just personally want to try out the pure lion's mane. And so I can go to ZA Nootropics, and I can get pure lion's mane, or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Or your mind, or whatever else you choose to get. But lion's mane, probably my favorite nootropic. I mean, the stuff is... it's absolutely incredible from what it does, from what it can do for you. It's like, they call it the super shroom.
The super shroom.
That's what it is. It's a super shroom.
Yeah, most certainly so. Most certainly so. So, okay, cool. You've started this business. You've split the business now. I get why, and I see why you'd want to do that. And I'm in, whether I like it is or not is irrelevant, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about actual nootropics and what the idea is behind nootropics. Because people say, okay, cognitive enhancer. That to me, that's not good enough. What can you try and explain the mechanics behind what it's actually supposed to do?
So, nootropics in general are something, a class of supplements or groups or chemicals or drugs, whatever you want to class them as, that aims to improve cognition, improve brain health, improve focus, memory, sleep, whatever it is. I mean, they have the most diverse range of effects you can come up with. So you get something like lion's mane that improves your BDNF factor, which is your brain-derived nootropic factor in your brain. That's your something that causes neurogenesis and brain growth and all of that. You get something like Phenibut that acts on your GABA pathways, if I'm not mistaken, and that's for mood and anxiety. You get something like oxiracetam that acts for focus, logical thinking. So they all act on different pathways in your brain and come up with different effects and result in different outcomes. But the general consensus or the general kind of like goal of nootropics is just to optimize your brain.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
That's it. So how I understand it, and you can correct me if you'd like to, is in your brains you have a bunch of neurons. And at the end of these neurons you have synapses, right?
Correct.
And your synapses is the bridge between each neuron, right? And I've got something here, basically it improves the synaptic plasticity, right?
Yeah.
And what that means is it allows the transfer of information, and it allows the synapses to transfer the information and your neurons to actually move with more plasticity. So to actually be able to fire quickly. So scientists have a saying that they say whatever fires together, whatever wires together, fires together. And we create these neuron pathways that become very fixed because they're hardwired together.
Yeah.
And I understand that neuron plasticity actually allows those neurons to regrow, to move, to form new pathways quicker, number one. And then number two, through the synapses to actually fire quicker. So to recall, for argument's sake, information quicker and to find the pathways quicker. I mean, in my limited understanding, is that right?
Essentially so, yeah. So, I mean, neuroplasticity is just one of the many effects that nootropics provide, but definitely one of the more important effects.
Yes.
I mean, having neuroplasticity and neurogenesis in your brain, where your brain can fire more efficiently, fire more effectively, at a faster rate. I mean, the transfer of information, the efficiency of that information in general is just going to be so much.
You put it so much more eloquently than I did. Thank you, Tristan.
Only a pleasure. But yeah, no, so the nootropics, I don't even know how else to explain what they do in the brain.
Perfectly done.
That, but
I mean, there's a lot of information out on the web.
The brain is the control center to your body. You do not feel healthy if the neurochemicals in your brain are out of balance. I mean, it controls your mood, your sleep, your focus, your general attitude or outlook on life. Everything is controlled and maintained in the brain. And if you can optimize those levels of neurotransmitters and brain chemicals and everything that goes on up there, everything works out for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, never mind that. I mean, you've got your brain, which controls your nervous system. Yeah. Right. And from your nervous system down your spinal cord, and then of course you've got all these neurotransmitters sending things to your hypothalamus that shoots down through to your receptor cells. So it's not just brain, and this is the thing, it's sort of everything. I believe, because if you take a sport like, I'm going to use my sport, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's not just the ability to physically dominate; it's the ability to mentally dominate. And I need to do both simultaneously when I do something like jiu-jitsu, right? It's not just, and I mean, I'm not putting down running, but when I run, sure, I can have a strategy for 50 Ks or for the comrades, I can have a strategy, but it's not on right now, let's go. What do I have to do?
Yeah.
Like
What's the
an
next
MMA
move?
fighter.
Exactly.
Different story. There's game plans, there's strategies, there's reactions, there's what is he doing? How do I react to what he's doing? How do I get him back into my game plan? And for me, being a small guy, there's this fucking 105 kilogram guy who's got an inside control top. How the hell do I get out? You know?
There you go.
Yeah. And that's why I use them.
I mean, if you just on point and you thinking faster than the opponent, your reaction speeds are just that split second quicker. It makes a difference between dodging that punch and the knockout punch, or getting into the hold. I don't know exactly what the terminology would be.
I don't know.
And getting out of that.
Yeah.
And it's that split second decision, that reaction speed, that, what if I did this instead? That blitz thinking. And that's where it comes into play.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why I like nootropics for my sport. You know, for any sport that's alive, so we call it aliveness sports, any sport where it is my opponent reacting real time to me, and me having to react to him, to me that's an aliveness sport, as opposed to a traditional martial art that's very static and predetermined and things like that. And then directly and equally proportionate put into the business environment, because remember, in a business environment, that's exactly what I'm doing. When I'm sitting with my client, I'm sparring.
Yeah.
It may be a mental spar, but I'm still sparring. I'm putting my information, he's countering my information, and it's that same thing. You know, everything is about information and how I process and react to that information.
All right.
That's the way I see it.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, who doesn't want to think quicker, think better, remember better?
Who doesn't want the limitless pill?
Exactly.
I do.
mean, couple years to come and we might just have that.
Most likely. I think in a couple of years to come, sure, more than just the limitless pill, I think we're probably going to be hooked up to some machine, and I think it's going to be, you know, involve quantum computing, and who knows where we're going to go. I definitely think that we're in terms of understanding nootropics and in terms of really understanding the brain, we're in our infancy. You know,
no, definitely.
Most certainly. So. We're far more than we were 20 years ago, but I don't think we yet fully understand what the brain is capable of.
Yeah, no, we don't even understand whatever surrounds the consciousness and unconsciousness, and let alone how the brain just works in general.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we got all the neuroscientists and whatever looking into it and studying it with the hypothesis and this and that, but it's just something that we don't even understand completely.
Yeah.
Let alone our brains. I mean, we don't even understand animal brains.
Yes. Yeah. Very true. Very true. It is a cruel twist of fate that we have this thing called consciousness.
Yeah.
And we have no idea what this thing called consciousness is. And I mean, it's something that I've always been very, very fascinated in. I mean, I had the quintessential upbringing, and quintessential is the wrong word. I had the typical upbringing of severely ADHD.
No, right.
Not play, real life ADHD.
Yeah, can't sit still for a second.
It was terrible. And my teachers turned around to me and said, "You will amount to nothing, you're useless," that typical thing. And I sat down and I was like, why am I different? Because I don't think I'm the most intelligent person, but I didn't think I was dumb. Or at least they tried to lead me to believe that I was dumb. And that's how I started getting into everything. I mean, I've done a lot of studies on the brain and the mind and the body and how it all works together, because it was me searching to try and figure out why the hell I was different. And the best example I've ever heard of an ADD person is your teacher could be teaching you, right, about photosynthesis. An ADD kid is sitting there going, well, what happens if there's clouds? So he's already gone, okay, I get photosynthesis. I understand what you're saying. Does it work through clouds? And then the teacher looks at him and goes, focus. Yeah. And you're like, whoa, he's already gone, you know, and that was a lot of my problem. I found, and I was supposed to be put on Ritalin, and I just refused. Literally just said, no.
That's a good reason.
I won't, yes. I saw a highly intelligent friend of mine, really super intelligent guy, turn into what can only be described as a zombie.
Oh, the stuff's terrible. I used to take the stuff back in high school. Eventually got to a point where I was only taking it for exams, just when I needed to sit down and study. And eventually I stopped taking it. I've got a couple of prescriptions sitting at home. I've got the leftover Concerta sitting at home. Just don't touch the stuff.
No.
It is absolutely dreadful. And the side effects that you get, don't sleep, don't eat, anxious,
really?
Zombie-like.
Anxious, yeah.
Zombie-like. any sort of situation that sparks your anxiety in any sort or manner just is amplified.
Yeah, and
for me personally,
yeah, and I don't
like
think that's healthy.
A couple other people, no, definitely not.
No.
Especially when you're sitting down, you're taking a test, and I mean, you're supposed to be, you need clear thoughts, you need to focus, you need to be in the zone or in that flow state, and you just can't get anywhere near there with
all this anxiousness.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot of people that operate perfectly fine on the stuff and that obviously need the stuff, but there are better alternatives.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that, ADD's become such a cop-out, to and I'm going to say this because I can, to bad parents who aren't willing to put in the time with their kids.
Healthy diets, a little bit of training.
Correct, healthy diets, a little bit of training, good sleep, a little bit of discipline maybe. Supplementation. And, give him Consider. There we go. Done. And then I don't have to deal with him.
There we go. Yeah. That's exactly what.
And even I think for teachers, this idea that you have a single teacher sitting teaching 50 kids, to me is ridiculous. And it's not the teacher's fault, eh? That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the school system. It is ridiculous. How do they manage 50 kids? And then in there you've got these true ADD kids, and then you've just got kids that are hyperactive and are a little bit naughty because their parents don't flip and discipline them correctly, or look after them correctly, or a healthy diet, or allow them to eat sweets, or whatever the case may be.
But no one's the same. No one works the same. I mean, you get people that, I learned this quite well in university. There's people that study differently. You get people that sit outside and study. You get people that prefer to study in the lectures, and you get people that prefer to study just by themselves. And everyone works differently, takes information in differently, learns differently, and you can't just put one generic blanket on this is how kids should learn and this is how they should act in class. I mean, some people prefer active learning, some people prefer passive learning, whatever that is, and that's something that's really, really flawed with the education system. It's just the way that
it's this very repetitive
taught, and if you a child that prefers to go out and do things hands-on and get that do that application and that active learning, now you're just deemed stupid or useless or ADHD or whatever other term they can
blanket terms thrown at you. Yeah,
that's just kind of how it comes about.
And I always ask the question, I say, in a zombie apocalypse, right, other than your ability to go on Facebook and update your status, what do you have to contribute to a community if there was a zombie apocalypse? And I think 99%, well, no, because there are tradesmen out there, you see, the people who I can build you something.
There you go.
I can actually contribute. I know how to farm. I know how to build furniture. I could teach guys how to rear naked choke a zombie.
That'll be interesting to see.
That'd be very interesting to see. I don't think I'd want to try it.
No, definitely not.
But back to my question. I mean, it's such a funny question, but what do you actually have to contribute?
I think I'm quite a hands-on guy. I mean, I grew up, my parents always took me camping, road tripping,
out and
adventuring. My dad actually studied to be a doctor, surgeon, left that and became a tradesman. He does corporate shop fitting, so it's all hands-on woodwork and that type of stuff. So I grew up in an environment where I know how to hammer 2 planks of wood together and make a box.
Hey, there we go.
I know how to make a fire.
Most nowadays.
I know how to, if I were to be dropped in the wilderness, I think I could be decently all right. I don't know how long I could go for, but I think I'm quite a crafty little guy. So
problem is majority of people aren't.
No, definitely.
And that's the question. Hey, it's such a fun and interesting question, but the majority of people are like, I can't update my status. No, because you have no power. You're in the middle of the wilderness. That's why.
Yeah, I know I can study the book pretty well, but I don't know how to use the knowledge out in the real world.
Yeah. It's a problem with society today, and I mean, it's not something that can be easily fixed.
Yeah.
Because to the parents, they are busy. They are running jobs. They are out there trying to make ends meet because life isn't easy.
No, definitely.
I mean, I just look at my life. I'm 37 and we have no kids, right? My fiance and I, or at least not yet. Or if I get it right, never. Wow, I said that on the internet. Because I realized that I don't have the time to properly, correctly grow up a child. Or I don't want to give the time because I'm too busy podcasting and jiu-jitsu and running businesses and things like that. But I'm very conscious of that fact. And I don't want to just do that for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, I think that's... I'm a little young to be
How old are you,
commenting
Tristan?
I'm 22 years old.
That's amazing.
But I do agree with that. I think if you're going to be bringing someone into the world, you need to do that. It's a big responsibility, and you need to make sure you have the time and the money. I mean, to bring up someone comfortably. I mean, you get a lot of people that just get brought up with, I don't know, saying a terrible life is the way to put it, but
just bad upbringing.
In general, there you go. You want to make sure that they have food on the table, can go to a good school, get the education that they need, always got clothes on their back. If you're bringing up someone, you don't have the time to look after them, to make sure that they're getting in the daily activities that they need, the food that they need, the vitamins, the care.
Extracurricular activities,
it's just
all cost money.
Irresponsible,
Yeah. I've my whole life I've had, and I'm very quick to change. I'm not scared to change. A lot of people don't like change, but my whole life I've sort of thought, I've had this very typical thing. There are no bad kids, there are just bad parents. And I've been listening to a lot of psychologists lately, and I'm starting to change my tone on that. Typically, there are no bad kids, there are just bad parents. But you do have problem children.
Yeah.
Right? It is just what it is, and you can't take that away. And to say anything otherwise would just be actually ignorant, right? Now imagine you're a young 22-year-old, first job, and you guys have a problem child, like a serious problem child, because they're maybe not just physically, maybe just a little terror, because that happens. There are little kids that are just born that are just absolute terrors. Or somebody with special needs, and now all of a sudden you need to pay all that attention to them, financially, emotionally, time.
It's draining.
Man, it's a lottery ticket, this whole procreation thing, eh?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I guess that's the risk that you're taking when you looking to do something like that.
I just wish that more people took it more seriously.
Yeah.
Not the actual, yes, the upbringing, but I'm going to have a child. Oh, really? Wow. I look at your situation, I look at your financial situation, I look at where you are in life, and I'm like, now? Really? Because at the end of the day, I'm not thinking about the parents. All I'm thinking about is that poor child.
Exactly.
I
don't think... People don't think things through. People don't think in general a lot of the time, and you see it from...
They should be taking more mind.
Yeah, exactly. There's your solution in a bottle.
Yeah.
But people just need to learn to think, I guess, to think things through. Better decision making leads to a better life. I mean, your decisions kind of relay to who you are and what you do. I mean, every decision kind of makes or breaks you. Let that be the decision to drive that few kilometers fast on the road.
Correct.
Or have a child. I mean, that could be the difference between
life
or death, or happiness or sadness, or the next promotion, or the next job, I guess. But
very
decisions.
So. But we don't even get taught to do that. We don't get taught to sit down, perhaps write a little bit of a pros and cons list, think about it, consider it, weigh up options, speak to other people.
Learn from them.
Absolutely. OPM, other people's money and other people's mistakes. Get it and learn from it.
Yeah, people also need to take the initiative to go out and learn for themselves.
Yes.
Not everything needs to be handed to you. Don't need to be spoon-fed.
I agree.
But you do need that foundation, I'd say. That
you need that drive and that willingness.
There you go. And that's what sets aside your high-end professionals from your mediocre.
Mediocrity and excellence is a choice.
Yeah.
I seriously believe that.
Definitely so.
Look at you, Tristan. You're 22 years old. I mean, it's ridiculous. I didn't realize you're so young. Okay, but you're 22 years old. You've started a business. Come hell or high water, you started a business. Whether it fails or whether it doesn't fail, to me, is fairly irrelevant. What I'm going is, wow, I love that.
Yeah.
And not just a business. I mean, it's making money. We don't need to know about profit sheets and balance sheets, but it's making money. It's doing well.
Yeah, no, it's working.
Wow. That I love. Because failures are going to come. That's inevitable.
But you learn from them. You get up, dust yourself off, you take the knowledge, if you want to call it that, from that experience, and you move on. I mean, the amount that I've learned I knew nothing about business, absolutely nothing. And the amount that I've learned this year alone, in the month and 2 weeks the amount that I learned last year was just significant. I mean,
massively so.
It's stuff you can't learn from a textbook. I've got a lot of friends that are studying business and business management and finance and accounting and whatever, you know, your general BCom subjects, and everything that they're studying, I'm kind of learning on a daily basis.
Yeah, been through it, real life.
But it's completely different, the knowledge that you gain from going out and doing something and staring at a textbook.
Yes.
And it's something that money just can't buy.
Yeah. You know, I think for me, it's always going to be a question of, I'm going to look at experience. Yes, I love the idea that you've studied, and I'm not saying don't study. Everybody should study.
Yeah.
Right. But just because I don't have a certificate behind my name for X doesn't mean that I'm not competent in X. You know?
Definitely not.
You know, I've just gone through this whole changing my lifestyle in terms of eating, and I lived it, for good or bad, with keto flu and feeling terrible, and look at that, and feeling terrible. But I've lived it, and that's the only way that I could learn. Go out there, live it, learn it, experience, fall on your face, feel terrible, get up, carry on.
I mean, it's literally the only way to. In my eyes, I've always been an application person. I've never done well with sitting and listening in class, getting taught something. I've always been someone that wants to go pick up the book by himself and do it by himself and learn that way. And I think that this whole situation that I was put in with learning the whole business trade by application, it just suited me. I mean,
brilliant.
It would work well for me. I've learned a lot. I've come a long way, and I enjoy it. I think this is something that hopefully
you want to turn into a lifelong business.
Be able to do. Yeah, I do not want to go work in the field of biochemistry as a scientist. Or, I mean, if this doesn't work out, I think I might go back and study something in the business area and shift into that. Okay. But this is just going to be the route for me.
Did you finish your biochemistry? No,
actually.
How many years did you do?
So I did 3.5 years. I got one major in biotechnology, and last year I was doing the major in biochemistry, and I had to stop. I couldn't do it.
Because of the business?
Because of the business. It got too time consuming. I invested too much time, too much effort, too much money, and I had to make the decision, is this something that I actually want to do? It is my future in my hands. This decision, once again, it comes down to a decision. And I made the decision to go ahead with it. And I don't regret it. Well, definitely not right now. But I've given myself kind of like a set of goals. If the next 2 years don't show me that this is something that I'll be able to maintain my life off, I need to start looking at other options and other plans and move it into kind of like a side hobby. Hopefully that won't be the case, and
hopefully it's a resounding success.
There we go.
Yeah, well, we can hope.
But it won't be the last.
You can plan for it to be a success. That too. And outside of the business?
Outside of the business, I try to keep as balanced of a life as possible, from social, fun, entertainment to fitness and health. Last year was a absolute mess for me. I stopped gymming, fitness went out the window, diet went into the next packet of chips. Stress was just through the roof, and now this year, New Year's resolution, the whole
balance.
New year, new me, balance. I'm up every morning for gym, do my running, my training, straight off to work. I feel absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The difference that makes. I mean, I notice on the days that I don't go to gym in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Yes, I'm there in the office and I'm productive, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not as productive. I'm not. Yeah. I actually noticed it yesterday. I skipped gym and I went to golf in the afternoon, and I just wasn't that productive, efficient individual that I generally am.
I think what people don't realize and don't take seriously enough is healthy mind, healthy body, healthy body, healthy mind. You know, I interview so many people, and I used to interview hundreds of people, and I'd always ask them, you know, what do you do outside of work? And the guys are like, I go drinking with my friends. I'm like, oh, is that your hobby?
Yeah.
Like, really? Wow.
And
all I'm looking for is just, I run, I train, I go for a walk in the park. I mean, I don't really care what it is, but I just believe that you need that dopamine. You need that serotonin. You need these positive influences in your life, because otherwise chips is what happens, and stress is what happens, and early heart attacks is what happens.
And just general, I mean, I don't think people realize they're just so accustomed, their baseline is probably the way to describe it. It's just so low. They think
this is the normal way
this
to
is how
operate.
efficient I am,
Yes.
productive I am. And I notice it the most when on Mondays after a weekend of drinking, if I do go out and I do indulge in that bit of a binge, and yes, I'm there,
but you're not there.
But I'm not there. This is maybe how I would feel if I did it every weekend. But when you go 2 weeks without touching alcohol and you're fit, and every morning
you get a new baseline.
You're up there, you're productive, you're efficient, you're optimized.
Yeah, there we go.
And people just don't understand that you always have a higher baseline. There's something more that you can, a higher operating level that you can be working on, and that's where all these products come in. And that's why people don't understand. They think, oh, I take this mind and I don't feel, I'm not a genius, I didn't remember every single thing that I read in the book, but it's not about that. It's about optimizing your baseline. It's about getting that baseline slightly up from 10 to 12 knots. And that's what it's about.
Very well put. And then in addition to that, balance, healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, sleep, pack the dishwasher, because that ensures that my fiance is happy. and then of course supplementation, and a lot of guys, I don't want to supplement, but it's important and it's necessary.
No, but it's exactly that. It's there to supplement. It's
not there to replace.
There you go. That's a lot of people make that mistake, and a lot of people look at it. Oh no, I don't need a supplement. It's bad. It's not good for you. It's unhealthy. It's just the pharmaceutical companies, and yes, by all means, I mean, majority of the products you buy,
of course,
this came are absolute. Well, you're better off putting dog food in a pill and taking that.
Yeah.
But you do get efficient supplements. You do get supplements that work. I see you've got the krill oil there, and that is something that absolutely incredible. I mean, it works, and it's something so simple. You don't need some fancy multivitamin to get you going. You need the simple basics. You need things that work.
Absolutely. And test it out. Here's the thing, find your baseline. That's it. And I've gone through this now for the last month, trying to figure out what's good for my body. How do I feel when I'm here? When I eat this, how do I feel? Because it's been this hell of a thing going keto. But for the first time in my life, I'm very aware of how I feel. Yeah. If I take this and do that, that's how I feel. And if I don't, that's how I feel. Because I've always been very, very active. So it's always been a question of dopamine. And even though I ate carbs, I'm active. So it keeps my base level fairly high. But now I can't train the way I used to. So all of a sudden my baseline is dropping. But then I supplement and then my baseline increases. And it's this experimentation phase.
It's finding what works for you. I mean, if you look at something like creatine, for example, some people find that X dosage works the best for them. Some people find they just completely blow it up in water on this dosage. And it's all about finding that optimal level that works for you. And it's all about personalized dosages.
Yes.
Just because the label says take 10 capsules, you don't need to take 10 capsules. Or if something like making coffee, instant coffee, it says 4 teaspoons. Maybe I like mine with 6 teaspoons. Maybe you're crazy and you like it with 10 teaspoons. It's all about finding what works for you and knowing your body. I mean, then again, people can't tell you what works for you.
You need to
it's
tell
your
yourself.
body. You need to realize or figure out, am I feeling better? Am I feeling worse? If you're just piling in chips and McDonald's and 500 different supplements and you don't know what's plotting and what's working, and if you feel any different, and I've been there, I think a lot of people have.
Of course.
You got to clear it out. You got to start with one supplement at a time. You got to see how that goes, what difference that makes.
Add another
in, and there you go. And that's how you work.
Slowly. So tell me, Tristan, what's ahead this year? You said to me that you're changing some packaging.
So, we've got some big revamps coming in.
Wow.
The products are great. They've been tested. They're to market standard. I mean, mine is similar.
Do you mind giving me more before we carry on? Do you mind giving me more information on? You said it's been tested. How's it been tested?
People enjoy the products. People say it works.
Market research.
Okay.
Exactly. Not
that.
clinical.
No, that's hopefully up and coming. That's a little costly.
Look, a lot of the products that you use have already been clinically tested
Exactly.
in
So
other,
I've based
in
the
other
products
studies.
on stuff that I've seen, but my products have not been. Obviously, that is something that we definitely looking towards, but we need to perfect and finalize the formulations and the products and the ingredients before you go and do that. Because once you clinically test something, when you test something, you're paying for each and every ingredient
Inside
in that formulation, and once you change that,
Yeah.
it's chaos. But yeah, so I've got some new formulations for the products. I mean, the Active and the Mind are they're my favorite products. And the new formulations that I've got for those are going to be, they're
Even better
they're
than
just
they are
exciting.
now.
Yeah,
Okay.
tenfold better. The Mind product we're going to probably be launching in the next 2 months. Relaunching.
Yes.
New packaging.
Okay.
New formulation. And that's probably going to be the cutting edge line of where it's going to be sitting for the Mind.
All right.
Couple ingredients, lion's mane boosted up.
Oh, good.
To about 500 or 600 milligrams in the serving, opposed to the 300 we have in there now.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think it's 300.
about double. Got one or two exciting new guys going in there, joining the capsule.
Not willing to talk yet?
You
don't have to.
Leave it a surprise.
All right.
So we've pretty much just upped the dosages a little bit, thrown in I think 2 new exciting ingredients into there, kind of set it aside from everything else in the market, and go from there.
Brilliant. I mean, your pricing is really, really good in comparison to anything that I can import from overseas. It's ridiculous. Now, I know this and maybe the listeners don't, but you import your products, but then they're locally manufactured. They're actually manufactured here.
Yeah. So a lot of the raw materials
Yes, the raw materials, excuse me.
what we can get here in South Africa, by all means, but
Okay.
support the local market.
What percentage split do you need to import versus locally sourced?
I would say about 30% locally sourced.
Okay, and the rest?
The rest imported. Obviously, some of the stuff we could get here locally, but the percentage extracts and the quality of the extracts are not as good or as great as the ones that I could get from overseas. Obviously, you don't sacrifice quality.
Good motto.
They work at about the same price, but you just get a better product.
Yeah, the quality is infinitely better.
Exactly. And more materials are packaged into the final product,
Okay.
And
shipped.
your uncle.
Yeah.
And shipped out. There you go.
And primarily online?
Yeah, primarily online, majority of the sales. We've got 3 health stores now on board, potentially a 4th and a 5th coming up.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not something that people know about. People, a little cautious to stock something. People don't want to just have random products sitting in their store. Small company, small guy, small brand.
Absolutely.
But it's growing.
Slowly.
And we're getting there. I mean, we've got health shopping, but it's called Healthworks in Hyde Park.
Okay.
They love this stuff. I mean, they order from me twice a month. They just love it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they looked at the ingredients and I took them from there.
Yeah, well, the ingredients speak for themselves.
I mean, if you know
exactly
the ingredients and you look at these products, you don't need fancy for marketing. You don't need fancy labels. Just that ingredient list on the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of paper stuck on.
That's why I bought it. Literally, that's why I bought it. I looked at your products. I was like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. I phoned you.
Yeah.
Okay, you sound remotely trustworthy.
Sounds like a friendly chat.
Sounds like a nice guy. It doesn't sound dodgy. I mean, I don't know how you make that decision over a phone. Order, and then you're like, please arrive.
Yeah. But no, the one thing that helps out a lot is the couriers. So if you're ordering something and it arrives in 1 or 2 days,
absolutely,
that makes online shopping just so much more.
And your deliveries were good.
Yeah, anywhere in Johannesburg, next day delivery. Anywhere nationwide, 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Damn. I mean, it's not as efficient as the States, but it's getting there.
It's efficient for South Africa.
Oh no, definitely so.
Yeah,
it's comparison to the post office.
And what's better for me is if I'm ordering something from overseas, unless I'm doing direct couriers and which is very, very costly. I don't know how long that's going to sit in customs. I mean, I've had students buy gis, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gis from overseas, and they've sat in customs for 3 months.
That's the outfit.
Yeah, the pajamas.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
The customs is another.
3 months sitting there. Oh no, it's there. We don't know where.
Oof, no, I've had some real
especially because you import.
Yep. I've got stuff coming in. Every week I've got something arriving in customs every 2 weeks, and
Really?
thank God things are a little more streamlined now. My suppliers, I've got the importer's code and all the documents, and everything's pre-cleared, so it kind of just flows through customs. It can take a day, 2 days normally.
Okay.
But this tea was an absolute shit show.
Really?
To say the least.
Tell me why.
It came through the post office, and obviously I wasn't aware it was coming through the post office. Their mailing service somehow connected to our post office. They lost the stuff. They didn't know where it was. Eventually they delivered 2 boxes out of like the 6. Then they took the 2 boxes back because I didn't clear the other 4. I mean, it was like a month of day in, day out with the clearing agent to try to get it out of the post office. And then they misplace it and they don't know where it is for 2 days. And have you ever tried to call
the post office? I'd rather not.
You can't.
Life's too short to drink drinks you don't want to drink.
No one answers at the post office. They have a line and it rings.
That's it.
But no one's there.
Yeah, government in parastatus, eh?
If I can recommend one thing, do not
find a good courier.
Pay the fee, pay DHL, FedEx, pay that extra amount and save yourself. You can be paying more for going to see your psychologist after dealing with the post office than you would have for the express shipping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. I mean, I've still got stuff that's floating around in the black hole.
Yeah,
that
the
is
ether.
The post office.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of decided it's gone. You're not going to be finding that.
And it all costs money at the end of the day. You know, you're a young business. Your cash flow is probably your biggest issue.
Yeah.
Of course, every young business's issue is cash flow.
And losing something in
it costs you dearly because you're not just losing the value of the product, but you're losing the potential value of the product, your profit margins and everything else.
And a lot of work's gone into. I mean, if we lost this tea, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, it's not even just the actual product. I mean, the effort that goes into developing and all the time. I mean, label designs, graphic designs, the whole
I'm
show.
So goddamn impressed, and I just bumped the microphone. Nevertheless, I'm so impressed with this, the packaging of the tea, the quality of the tea bag, the quality of the product. I love it. I mean, it's most certainly not the cheapest, right? Most of your products are very, very, very well priced. This one's on the high side, correct? But what a product!
Yeah. Hopefully, once it takes off and people are buying a little more and things are a little more streamlined, be able to get it in at a better rate.
At a better rate, yeah.
But currently, $1.99, which is
you should speak
pricely.
You should speak to Jody, man. Jody from Yerba Mate, South Africa. Yeah, you should have a chat to them because I mean he brings it in. He brings it in the product, the big bags of it.
Yeah.
You're buying in like a 1 kg bag or whatever the case may be, and he's got damn good products, eh?
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why this product was so pricey is because I had to get it manufactured into the final product.
I've got you. Oh, so does it actually manufactured overseas? No wonder you said if it didn't come through, it would have been...
Exactly.
Shit.
I could get it manufactured here, but it wouldn't be the same quality in terms of the tea bag. We don't have the infrastructure or the businesses that support your small scale product productions. Something like putting something into capsules. You got your little small companies floating around that will do 100, 200 units. Units by I mean bottles.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But your other companies are looking at doing
mass
minimum of like 5,000 units, and when you got 5-6 products, you can't afford to do 35,000 units of product floating around. You got expiry dates, you got label updates, formulation updates. You just wouldn't be able to move that, and that's what happened with the team. And found a company in the States that would do it quite cost effectively, and that's how I got it in. There's actually a similar product to this overseas, and it's also priced in a similar range. So that's how I kind of found that it would be. I mean, if they're doing it, surely I could do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the price point when we're developing this product was one of the
sore points.
Yeah, one of the sore points.
Look, I mean, I'm definitely going to buy it and I'm definitely going to use it. I'm not going to use it every day because I've got mate.
Yeah,
but I'm most certainly going to use it for convenience. I want a quick mate. I don't have time to make, because making mate is a a very time-consuming thing. You don't just drink mate.
It's
you have to
cooking a
make it correct, and your water needs to be at the right temperature. And interestingly enough, something you may not know, you're not supposed to use boiled water.
Something with regards to throat cancer.
No. If your water is boiling and you use it in mate, from what I understand, it actually kills some of the nutrients. So what you do is so what they say when you're drinking it is you need to put your finger in the water for 2 seconds, and if you do that, it's right.
All right.
So it mustn't be boiling.
It needs to be hot water.
It just needs to be fairly hot water, right? But not boiling, because it actually kills some of the nutrients in the mate. Just
all right. Learn something new every day.
Put that on the website. Courtesy of Huntley.
There we go.
Courtesy of the Thought
Optimal
Lab.
water temperature.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. No, because it's got mate. Mate's mate.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be the
exactly
same
the same. Yeah.
I've heard that you're not supposed to have the water boiling hot. There was something along the lines of mate causing or being associated with some sort of esophageal cancer.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Which I thought was absolute rubbish due to the fact that it should be assisting or something like that.
Millions of Argentinians running around drinking this, and they're all dying from
And
throat cancer.
Apparently that turned out to be something relating to drinking boiling hot water with the mate and all the other herbs, and that agitated the throat. Or I could be maybe off the ball here, but it was something along the lines of that. So that's how I got that from it. But back to the tea. My favorite thing about the tea is don't feel like a cup of coffee. Feel like something a little different. Absolutely. It's refreshing. I mean, sometimes a cup of coffee in the heat really gets my body temperature through the roof. I feel hot and flushed and sweaty. But doesn't quench my thirst either. But this tea, on the other hand, I don't know what it is or how, but
it's refreshing. No, it's look, mate is incredible, and I don't just drink it hot. We actually make it in bulk, put it in the fridge, and I drink it cold. We get back from training jiu-jitsu, and I'm all shaky, and mate, ice cold mate, and we get, like I say earlier, we get this ting sorted, and off you go.
Yeah, I've thought about doing the cold brew a couple of times with this. Never really got to it, but seems like it definitely should
maybe
be
something to consider for future.
Definitely so.
Brilliant. All right, Tristan, dude, thank you so much for coming by. I've really enjoyed this. I've really appreciated it. Let's plug you shamelessly. Why not? Where can the guys find you?
Google us, web search us, whatever it is. Instagram,
Primeself,
Facebook, Primeself,
as well
ZA.
as Nootropics ZA.
Yeah, ZA Nootropics,
Nootropics
ZA. Either or will do the trick.
Bring it up.
You can find us anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Your contact details on your website.
Everything is there. Contact information.
Maybe after this you'll get a whole bunch of chicks phoning you. I don't know.
Fantastic. Here's my personal number up there.
Be careful what you say, buddy. Stalkers are real.
Oh no, definitely so.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Great stuff. Thanks, eh?
Ciao. All right, guys. That's the end of that podcast. I had so much fun, and I really loved it. Thank you for Tristan for coming through, and so long, and thanks for all the fish, guys. Ciao. Right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did. Starting a business is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's definitely worth it, and I'm very appreciative of what Tristan's trying to do and what he's gone through to get to where he is right now. I hope you guys really enjoyed that as much as I did. To my sponsors and to the people that make this podcast happen, Jared Smith, my main equipment sponsor and sound engineer, his album Charcoal Sketching is available on iTunes, and there's some really cool music videos out at the moment on Facebook and YouTube. Just go and search Jared Smith. That's JARYD Smith. My partners, Teletrack, for sponsoring me with my professional studio space in Rivonia. Thank you so much, Dieter, for making it happen last week with the Brandon Orret podcast. I really appreciate it. To Unleash TV, Mark Herbert, you legend, you. Thank you for all my design work, and thank you for all the advice you've been giving me. I really appreciate it. And then lastly, to my ninja nerds, Bisha IT, Brendan, Christopher, thank you guys so much for putting up with me and helping me get all my podcasts out seamlessly through the wonderful RSS feeds out into the digital sphere and iTunes and Stitcher and all the rest of it. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.